Hello and welcome to Canutillo Convo, the official Canutillo ISD podcast. I guess we found our theme music over here. I'm Gustavo Reveles, the Director of Communications for the school district. The controls, we have Laura Lupia. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
And our DJ and fearless leader, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Pedro Galaviz. Doc, what's that we're listening to?
You said we were going to freestyle. That's freestyle music.
Is that freestyle? I don't know.
That's what it says.
I like freestyle, but I'm not sure that. Yeah, okay, it's starting to sound like freestyle now. Yeah, there you go.
That's freestyle.
Well, we're freestyling because this is our 100th episode of the podcast.
100th episode.
So we're on year 2, I guess, of the podcast.
Season 3.
Season 3.
Uh-huh.
Oh man!
Watch us on Netflix.
What's it? Yeah, we're not a Korean drama like Dr. Galaviz likes to watch, but
I love those.
But sometimes we're pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, you know what? We get that. You can imagine we could be a Netflix.
Well, I've always said that at the end of my career, I'm gonna, I've done both reporting and, be part of the team in the school district. I've always said there's a book in here somewhere.
Yeah,
there's a book.
What would you title the book?
Man, after everything I've seen and done, I was like, I don't know. I'll call it.
What'd you call it?
You put me on the spot, Doc, but something to do with it's messy making this baking this cake.
Right.
Baking the cake is messy.
Baking the cake is messy.
Yeah.
Laura, you said right. You said right. Why? What would be the title of your...
Look around.
Oh yeah.
It's not just physically messy, it's mentally messy.
Yes.
You're in your new house, though. Your new office is a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger because we have tons of printing machines and workstations and all that, but we're going to have an open house pretty soon.
Yeah.
But Doc, 100 episodes.
100. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is an award-winning podcast. Mm-hmm. And we actually, Doc, we were the first ones to do it. We were the first ones to in the region to create a podcast. And I know some people don't like it. They
really?
Yeah, there's certain members of the community that tell us to get to work. They don't like that we're trying to reach as many people as possible to engage and really, communicate with them. They seem to not like that. But
you know what? If we stopped every time their opinion, then you and I wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
Can
definitely.
you imagine? My parents would still be in Mexico.
Yeah.
They would say, how can a migrant's kid go get his doctorate at UT? That's impossible.
Well, and some people.
How can you write for the El Paso, Times?
Yes,
how could Laura be a graphic artist?
Yeah.
Right? They don't.
It is. It's unreal, and some people, scratch us off as dumb and incapable of putting a sentence together. But here we are, running a school district and doing well.
Yeah,
and
you're little ouchie is right now at our
I am.
But you get to the point you're like, is it's like again, condolences to Dr. Kearney and Lady Washington and Lady Shirley Carr
Washington. Her mother passed away.
Last Wednesday, we celebrated her life yesterday, and that was, you had the Pope passing away, and you get all
on
this,
Easter.
and yet you get people that still don't appreciate life, don't appreciate humanity, and want to, just be mean and evil. But why live? Why even think of that? You just got to keep going.
And to me, Doc, as I was sitting there at the services for Pastor Washington, it was very striking. There were people from all over the country that came together to really celebrate her life. I did not know her. I never met her in person, but I walked out of there feeling really inspired. It was really, really joyful. It was a very joyful celebration. And Dr. Kearney, of course, we sent her our condolences. But I told her yesterday that I felt a lot of love in the house, and I felt really energized by what I saw.
And you felt like you knew her mom.
Yes.
But you know, and I'm upset at Dr. Kearney, and Dr. Kearney, if you're listening, Deborah, I've never had one of those cinnamon rolls.
Those cinnamon rolls
did they look
fantastic.
Delicious?
And I don't know if you saw the photo of the little young kid. You know, there was a photo, Laura, in the slideshow, and it was a photo of what I imagine was Dr. Kearney's mom's kitchen. It was the stove, and you can tell that there's cinnamon rolls inside, and there's this little kid just laying flat on the floor waiting for the.
They look delicious.
They look delicious.
I would break my carb and my sugar. And then like she used to cook burritos for the gardener. Yeah. You having breakfast in the morning, and it was phenomenal.
It was a great
Pastor
celebration
Kearney,
of life.
Deborah's husband did a. I mean, he was just great. The guy from Chicago.
Oh yeah, we have pastors, all
over
from all over New Jersey, Albuquerque, Lubbock, Phoenix, and Doc, I was just amazed at the reverence that people pay to them, because they're I mean, the way they pray and just send their message out was really inspiring. I was really touched by all the love that was
and
there.
And then you get that, and that's why you don't let the people,
haters?
The haters, the negative, the
negative Nancy,
negative Naz, they're gonna be there because blah 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 blah. But you get yesterday and that celebration of life, and that's what we should live every day.
Yeah, and
we should celebrate life, celebrate each other,
and I don't know about you, Doc, but the spirit of Dr. Kearney was evident there,
right?
Because you can totally see that she grew up in that environment, right? In an environment, and they all joked about how strict she was as a mother.
Yeah,
but it's also very but also very loving, right? And that's Dr. Kearney. You can tell that she grew up in that environment. So again, our condolences to Dr. Kearney and her family. Beautiful family and just beautiful community there that we experienced, and we're thinking of her, everyone here. But yes, you know, we also had a very, very long board meeting this week, Doc. And again, you know, we're doing God's work over here, just trying to make things happen. And
well, I think it's long because, you know, one of the things that as board members, you know, I mean, 2 hours, that's it. If you can't get it done in 2 hours, all these, you know, questions and just, you know, just talking. And again, it's like, trust that you have a solid team of administrators that you know, I mean, we're pretty good.
Well, you know, and I think to that point, I think I understand the need to scrutinize and the need to make sure that questions are asked, that you receive answers that you deem satisfactory. But I also know that a school district like this one, where of course has its challenges, but it's continued to prove itself as one of the highest performing school districts, a school district that has been transformed. You know, anyone that's been around for more than 12 years knows that this school district 12 years ago was not performing at this level.
And our budget deficit is not because of our spending or you know the just, you know, we've first report, you know, hats off to our finance department, Christina Pooley and her team. You know, I mean, our zero audits, findings in our audit 10 years in a row. We have so it's not, I mean, our funding is because our state won't pay us.
Well, I mean, anyone who thinks that we're living in luxury, you know, we're sitting in the middle of our new office, and we moved not because we wanted to, we moved because we were displaced by construction, right, and outside, and you know, I'm scrambling to find a chair.
This looks like your old office, anyways, even before construction.
Well, we're not moved in, Doc. We you know, for anyone that Dr. Galaviz hates,
Christina's office. It's already set, pristine.
Sure, I want to find 10 minutes to do that right now, and this is our busiest season in this office.
You guys got Teacher of the Year coming up.
Teacher of the Year. We have graduations. We have pre-K roundup this Saturday. We have. What else? Oh, we have the quarterly bond meetings. We have quarterly newsletter. I mean, it's never ending, but we do it with love, and we do it because we know it needs to be done, and we're going to continue doing it.
So I mean, you're Catholic. So what did you think of the Pope passing away?
You know, this is a special Pope in the sense to where he was not Italian, right? I read this yesterday when I was kind of this is my relaxing thing. I was reading about the Pope yesterday. He was the first Latin American Pope, right? And we've had a Latin American Pope from Argentina. Before that, he was a German Pope. Before that, he was a Polish Pope. Before that was an Italian Pope. And it had been nothing but Italians for 500 years as popes. Did you know that?
No.
I was like, what the? Whoa. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see who they pick now. They're going to start their conclave and do all those rituals.
But this Pope is the one that openly came up and
accepted,
the
accepted
community,
the LGBT community, the immigrant community. He advocated for them. He advocated for women. I've been listening to a lot of news and reading on his impact, and even before his passing, I had heard a lot about how there's some people that were very hopeful when he first was picked as Pope, but disappointed that not more change came. And what the analysts say is that he was never going to be the Pope that created the change. He was going to be the Pope that set up the avenue to create that change, because it takes a long time to do this, right? So he said the appointments that he made as cardinals and as other both religious and secular people, those are going to be setting up that change. And the church needs to change it. If something, if something was evident to me at Dr. Kearney's mom's services, is that the rituals that I grew up with in church, while very valid and they're very comforting in a sense to me, they're very rigid, right? Yeah. Going to church is, as a Catholic, for me, might have been spiritual and fulfilling, but it was not fun.
It goes back when you baptize a child who's just an infant, doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right. Communion doesn't know. You don't know because you're born into this life and this religion, and you're not there to question. You just do it. So I think that's where when you see Destiny Church, right? It's called Destiny Church.
Destiny Church on Dyer, yes.
Yeah, with the music and the band and the singing and people. It's okay to stand. Yeah. Can you imagine doing that?
And even answer back and say like, hey, the whole thing was just fantastic.
You can imagine.
Well, and you know what else too, Don? Like, they had all these ushers, and they're all, I think they're all volunteers. They're just church members,
right?
And they're so happy to point you in the right direction and welcome you, and it's just.
Shout out to, and I didn't get his name. He told me his name, but it was during lunchtime, and I have a very rigid, so my blood sugar went down. Yeah, right. And so I went to use the restroom, and then I saw a kitchen. So I went in the kitchen. Maybe I could find something just to. So the guy was like, first of all, sir, it's that way, and I go, well, my blood sugar's down. I need, and he gave me a little kind bar. And then he goes, you probably need some oranges. So he went into the kitchen and brought 2 little oranges for me. So bless you. And I wish I knew your name. But that kind of service.
Yes.
Because they were all in their white gloves.
Their white gloves. And it was fantastic. It looked great.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
Yeah, it was a fantastic service. And I want to, of course, like we said, our condolences, but also congratulate Dr. Kearney and her family on creating a beautiful community there. It was fantastic. But going back to the Pope, it's going to be interesting to see who they pick, because they might pick either a Filipino, from what I'm reading, a Filipino cardinal.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which would be the first Asian Pope, or an African Pope.
They might pick a Pope from Wisconsin.
They might pick an American or a Canadian too. Those are in the running.
Yeah, American. He's from Wisconsin and Green Bay. He's from the Green Bay Packers.
I don't know about that.
I should be Pope. Should I be Pope? Hey, yeah. You think the conclave?
I think there's one main reason why you shouldn't.
I don't think
and I think right now she might be at work.
Yeah, right. No, but I think that's just phenomenal of that world leader.
Yeah,
that's a world leader.
Yeah, he's a government leader too.
Yeah, but just
the head
amazing. So I think that's somewhere where when one of the speakers was talking, his bucket list was to go to Tahiti. Remember?
No, I didn't.
Oh, did you leave?
I had to step out at a meeting. Yes.
Okay, so there's a guy, and one of the reverends, pastors was saying he wanted to go to Tahiti. That was on his bucket list. So my bucket list is Rome. What's your bucket list? Where do you want to go, Laura? What's your bucket list?
Wherever the Aurora Borealis.
Oh, that's up north. Yeah, gotta go to Canada with me next time.
Canada?
Is it Canada? Yeah. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
The Northern Lights.
The pretty lights, yeah.
Oh, like on TV?
No. Well,
the Northern Lights that you've seen them on TV, like in the sky, like up north, like it's just like a ribbon.
Canada?
You can go to Canada. You can go to Russia too. You can see them.
51st state?
No, that's yeah. But
what's your bucket list? Where do you?
I want to.
I know you want to live in Vancouver.
I want to retire to Vancouver. Yeah, that would be fantastic. But I don't think I'd make enough money to do that. But my goal is to set foot in every continent except Antarctica. I have no interest in setting foot there. And so far I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, where?
North America.
Europe.
Asia.
And
Africa.
Those are the 4 you've been?
Yes.
You've been to Africa?
Yeah.
What part?
Egypt.
Wow. Yeah. You went.
Yeah. And I'm just missing South America and Australia.
In Asia?
I went to Israel, and I was in Jordan and in Syria.
Oh, okay.
And Middle East is, by definition, Asia. I would still like to go far east, like China, Japan.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, and people always ask me like,
well, how many? You're missing South America?
South America and Australia.
South America should be an easy one for you.
Well, I could. Yeah, I mean, you could
down there.
You could fly from Mexico into Colombia for cheap right now. It's just a matter of time.
Was it really?
Yeah.
But do you really want to go to Australia?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kings that want to kill you there.
The what?
Animals that want to kill you there.
Well, I'm not gonna go into like the outback or anything. No. I'm just gonna go to like.
I'd be scared.
Good day.
Well, actually, and I brought that up too because people always tell me like, would you go to and they name a country that's like, I'll go anywhere. Mm-hmm. I would go anywhere. I don't care. Even to say because when I've been to Syria and they were fighting, and it's like, weren't you scared? I'm like, I mean, no. Mm-hmm. Like, where tourists are, you're fine. I want to be a tourist somewhere. I don't want to go like explore.
Speaking of anywhere, where are we in the state in current when it comes to the bills that are passing right now?
So we are starting to see bills come to fruition. I read a story yesterday that the governor signed the first bill to come out of this session into law. It has nothing to do with education. It was something else. But they're starting to kind of finalize, and this is the tail end of it. And, of course, we saw that the House approved its own version of House Bill 2, which is the voucher bill. And now it's going back to the Senate for them to consider that version of the bill before it goes to the governor. There's every expectation that that's going to pass.
Yeah. How much money for schools? Do they raise the basic allotment?
It does raise it by about like $250. Not nearly what we need, not nearly enough to make up for inflation, not nearly enough to make up for the thousands of dollars we're going to lose.
And I think that's what when we talk about budget cuts, and I think you always say this, Gus. We don't want to do this.
Yeah.
we don't want to, but we're being forced to do something, and you got to cut something.
Yeah, I did some media interviews this week, Doc, with the decision. Eventually, the board decided to not change our nursing program and keep RNs. And we had proposed shifting to a hybrid model with some RNs and some LVNs. And parents were coming up, and other people were coming up saying like, this is, but this is not ideal. I'm like, we agree this is not ideal. We're not offering these or any other cost savings measures that we propose because we want to feel they're good. That's not what we're doing here. None of them are things we feel will help us meet our goals in a much better way. We propose them because we have to, and we propose them because we feel we can work somehow around it to still meet our goal, but it will make things harder for us. We don't want to do any of this.
Well, and also before the state's going to come in, as conservators, and they're going to come in and
if we don't address these issues, the state will. I mean, it's kind of like a catch-22, right? Because they're cutting our funding and not funding us properly, and then we have to operate the way we have been operating on a deficit. But if we continue to operate in a deficit, then they're going to take over.
Right.
I mean, if people want to read between the lines here, the state is creating a problem so that they can solve it for us and say, you guys don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
but yet they created that problem.
Yeah. So what do we do, Laura? What do we do?
The best we can.
The best we can.
And we have been doing the best we can. Doc, let's address the elephant in the room. The ratings. The ratings came out.
Oh, ratings are coming out. Yeah.
They came out today. Canutillo ISD continues to be one of the highest performing school districts in the region, but we did have a grade of a B instead of an A that we normally have.
Well, we would have had an A.
We would have had an A.
An A if the ratings would have stayed the same, and they should have. But the commissioner changed the game.
He changed the rules in the middle of the game.
Right after scoring. Supposed to be right after COVID.
Yeah.
Right after COVID, after that guy, commissioner said, learning gap, COVID gap, whatever, COVID learning. I've heard him so many times. I don't even listen to his meetings anymore because I'm like, dude, you are.
And I hope people understand, if anyone is listening, is that here's the timeline. April 2022, kids take the test. October 2022, after the kids take the test, or is it 23? 23. I'm sorry. April 23, the students take the test. In October, after the kids not only have tested, many of them have graduated and are gone, the commissioner says, oh, by the way, we're going to change the way we assess schools based on the information that you already did. Like all the tests that you already took and submitted, we're going to change it. So a lot of people can say like, well, whatever. It's, whether you prepare them or not. But when you change the rules in the middle of the game, you don't allow school districts to plan, to prepare, to adjust. Because if you change the way you grade, it's not just it's not just a matter of grading the same test. So that's why we say using the data from the previous year, if we were to be fair and grade the test under the rules that we tested under, we would continue to be an A.
But this was the whole. First of all, they've done that in the past where they change, but it was like, okay, we're going to use the old criteria, the old accountability, but under the new accountability, this is what it would have been.
Right.
So it gives you time to look between the current accountability and the new one.
Right.
So you can adjust and plan. Oh snap, we need to do this. The OACCMR, those kids already graduated, and it's 2-year data.
Yeah.
So you can't go back and change. So I think that's where, again, but it could have been part of the whole voucher plan. Voucher that public schools are bad.
And listen, it might be controversial, but I'll go ahead and say it. I think this is the plan. The plan is to try and make public schools look like they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. When in reality, we are scrambling to adjust to a moving target. Everybody knows that standardized testing is a glimpse of what's happening in our classrooms. It is not a reflection of the workers our teachers do.
Well, and it goes back to our conversation with our theater group.
Yeah.
Schools are so antiquated in their approach to teaching and learning. I mean, there's nothing, and it's like, but you're like in a box.
Yeah.
And teach this way and teach this knowledge and knowledge that I can go on my phone and get. You know, and like I said in that podcast, it's like you see these, they're like zombies. Kids, they're zombies. They go into the school like a factory and they get out, and it's like, come on.
And that's why, a lot of them get to college, and that's when really they're challenged because they do things differently. You may or may not go.
You don't want to learn, don't learn.
Don't learn.
You don't want to come.
Yeah.
I got your money.
Yeah. So, but we'll keep fighting the fight, and we'll keep
let's go
outperforming everyone and
freestyling.
Yeah, but well, happy 100th.
Happy 100
to everyone. Here's to another 100.
Here's another 100.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, love you all.
Bye.